Last two questions. 2023 biggest defector from the PGA to LIV. Caleb, you said you think Cam Young, there's a chance that he goes to LIV. I said Hideki. I'm changing my answer. I think Cantlay is going to go. I think that the rumors just keep heating up for him and Xander. And I think out of the two, Cantlay is more likely to. And I think that honestly, I think it would be a decent decision for him, just because he's not he. I don't see him as a poster boy for the PGA Tour personally. He's a great golfer. I think that he can do some good things, but he's just not going to be one of those marketable players for them. And I could see him being sold on a pitch that, hey, come join Live and be a bigger name, or get a little more recognition, be a bigger stand out more in the field, plus get $100 of or $100 million of blood money and carry on. So I think that I think it's going to be Cantlay instead of Hideki. Caleb, are you changing from Cam Young to anybody?
Yes, only because I think if Cam Young would have, if he would have, he would have already been there. Personally, I mean, at this point, we kind of saw him play in the President's Cup. So unless he was just going to get that and then go from there, I could see Hovland just because he's regressed, I think, a lot on the tour. Yeah. The only other guy that would probably make sense is Tom Kim, since he's really not going to do anything on the PGA Tour. So he might as well go get money. So I had to. But yeah, I think Hovland will be the next one.
Okay. I think that's a pretty good pick there. Teed, who do you think's the next PGA Tour guy, or next big name to go to LIV?
So I feel like if guys were to do it, they'd have done it by now. I feel like LIV has been behind the scenes trying to get everybody we're talking about at some time or another. Is it just me, or have has the LIV stuff really quieted down? Compared to where we were in season.
They haven't played in 4 months.
Yeah, they haven't.
3 months.
But they haven't played. But isn't this the time where, if you are operating a tour like that, you'd be trying to get your ducks in a row for the next season, where you're trying to figure out what you're trying to. Yeah.
I think that they are. I think that the conversations are still being had. I think that they're still, again, given their sales pitches to these guys, the biggest thing that has been against them, other than some of the obvious stuff with PGA Tour, is the major championships. So if these other institutions go, hey, we're following suit with Augusta, you can play in the majors. I think that checks another box in the pro column for some of those guys that are being sold on this. And I think that we can see more. I don't think that the LIV is just going away and that they're just satisfied with who they have, because they've gotten some big names. I think they're just going to continue to try to go for those, and they're not going to hold up for as long as they're getting the bottomless pit of money thrown into their direction. I think they're still going to be pursuing those guys. And I think that if these other majors come out and say, hey, you can play, then why not, right? Like for some of those guys. Now, I don't think that the JTs and Rorys and Spieths and guys like that are going to go, but I think that some players can be enticed because it's just another thing in the pro column bucket on their list that they would still be able to play in the biggest events.
So the only thing that I could see kind of happening from them playing more elevated events, like older guys who are already established and aren't necessarily playing every week to win, maybe somebody like a Adam Scott or a Jason Day, somebody like that, saying, you know what, I'll just take my bag. If I can still play in these majors, I don't want to be running around. I got family and everything else. They've already established themselves within the game and amongst their peers. So just for the sake of, I don't know who else would necessarily go over, to throw a name out there. I'll say like Jason Day, because he's a name. He's somebody who, he's around, he's recognizable. LIV would like to have him on there. Everybody likes money. And I don't know if he'd be totally willing to be playing a whole bunch, honestly, at this stage in his career, you know. So yeah, there you go. Mark me down for the Aussie.
There you go.
I think if we were to see something though, it'll be like in a couple months, because again, like, yes, each player is considered like their own contractor. We've learned all of this lingo through all the things that have come up. Like, yeah, they're individual contractors. Yes, but they're also signing a contract at the beginning of each season saying, this is the rules that I'll abide by. So I think this period right now is that we're signing to abide by these rules. So whether rules are being changed within the tour, as we've already seen, and maybe we haven't heard yet of some new ones, I don't see it happening at the beginning of the year. Maybe closer to Augusta, maybe, closer to some of these other tournaments where they were like, yeah, you guys can play. But I just don't see it happening now, I guess.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be some time. I think there was a heavy recruitment period at early or kind of mid when LIV was being, really started, right? Like officially started. But I think their time to grab people is right before or right after FedEx Cup. Like that's the time the majors are done. They've already, have their slate of events that they have going. Like I think guys will play through this season. How our Elevate events are going? Is it making my year better? Is it making it worse? Am I getting as much money or whatever, right? Like there's a lot of things to be considered. So I think my prediction is for later on, but I still think somebody like Cantlay, somebody like Xander could go to LIV in 2023. So we'll see.